We hope you enjoyed this episode. Unfortunately, they made some mistakes.
Hello.
Hi.
You couldn't find your tabs?
No, I have a Word. I keep them in Word.
Okay.
But it's not there.
That's what you use to write, to compose things, is Word?
Yeah.
Oh, you had to download that program, I guess, right? It doesn't come on a Mac.
Well, they have Word for Mac. I don't know because I didn't have to download it for this newer laptop.
But you transferred everything from your old laptop onto that one.
Probably.
I think I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, got it.
I used TextEdit because it came with it.
Cool.
Now I'm feeling like I should have gone the extra mile and gotten
It's
Word.
all the same.
Do
Probably.
you ever use Google Docs?
I don't like it's great.
Okay.
But I prefer to have something I don't have to log into if I lose a password. This has happened multiple times.
Yeah.
Where I get locked out, then I can't access the docs or any of these things.
It never ends with the passwords. Who would have thought that would be the bane of everyone's existence?
I know.
I just had a bit of a scare. So, as you know, Aaron and I are starting a podcast.
Yeah, so what's the deal?
Yeah, I think it's going to be called Mom's Car. And I am in real life, I've registered to deliver food with a delivery service.
Yeah.
Popular delivery service, I'll leave it at that. And we go pick up and deliver food. And then while we're driving around, we read questions people asked. And then in this case, we did a couple last night. We also had a fun guest in the back seat.
Nice.
But registering for this delivery app, it was like my social security, like info I never give out online.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, now I got to trust this company
Yeah.
to not have a data breach, which they all have them.
I know.
I was scared.
That is scary.
What was really, really funny about this whole thing was I delivered for 3 hours. Didn't get much activity. I thought it would be like boom, boom, boom. But of course, we're in LA, a lot of out-of-work actors. I think there's a lot of folks delivering food.
Yeah.
I only got to deliver 3 different meals in 3 hours.
Okay.
Ice cream, some smoothie beverages,
Ooh.
and some hot chicken.
Nice.
And it was very, very fun. All to say, I made $22.
Congrats.
And then I got home and I ordered food for everyone that was at the house, which we have people staying at the house. And I spent like $180. I was like, oh, this is so funny. I offset, I guess, my expenditure by $22.
So do you only get the tip?
You get some fee for delivering it.
Okay.
And then you get a tip, but that comes in a little while later. One thing that wasn't in any of the questionnaires, which should be, my first delivery, the person was on the 5th floor of an apartment building, no elevator. So I had to hoof it up 5 floors. I'm exaggerating. It was 4. Why? I didn't need to do that. 4 is a lot. I thought they should ask if you're in shape.
Yeah.
I don't think not everyone can go hustle up 4 flights of stairs to drop off some food.
Well, they might have to take breaks.
It could take a while.
Yeah.
And then you could be losing your mind inside your apartment because you saw that they've arrived and it's like still 20 minutes.
Sure. Oof.
Yeah. And then I only got to meet one of the customers because most people, which I didn't anticipate, which makes sense, just leave at the door.
Yeah.
People want leave at the door. You're leave at the door?
Yes.
Yeah. I have to interact with them because I got to open the gate and do the whole thing.
Well, even when I order here, I tell them to leave it at the gate.
You're not worried that some of the scoundrels out there are going to dip
worried,
into it?
but not worried enough to
deal with meeting the person?
Yeah, that's fun. That's very fun. Cool. Well, I have good news. I have an update. My cholesterol's down.
It is. How significantly?
I don't know. We're going to talk about it, but Dr. Richard Isaacson, our friend, who we...
Our Savior,
doctor.
our Lord and Savior.
Yes, we did another round of blood draw.
So much blood.
So much blood again.
No shade to the experiment we're involved with, but my God, there's 10 vials of blood, right? That's what they took, 10?
Yeah.
I didn't count, but it was a lot.
It was 10.
It was 10, yeah. And then finger pricks, so 20 cards. So it's like you got the 10 vials of blood and then all these cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of blood. He just texted me. He said, yay.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, oh, what's going on? And he just said, yay again. And I said, oh, is it working? And he said, yeah.
Because you've gone on
I'm on the statin.
You are? Okay,
yes,
great.
I'm on the statin, and I'm on half of the dose I was prescribed, and I wanted to see if that was going to be enough.
Right.
And it seems like it is.
He sent me a positive text, too, that said that I've knocked out whatever inflammation was in one of my vessels or some
good.
shit. Did you get any good news, Rob?
No. Must be all bad news coming.
I'm sorry.
Oh, speaking of that, I brought my smell test.
You did.
Yeah. Do you want to do some or no?
I
you
hate
don't?
my smell test.
What do you mean?
Of all the tests we have to do again, I'm mad that I have to redo the smell test.
Well, that's why it's fun to do it this way.
I just think so much is like scratching. Well, we can try it. Want to do a couple cards?
Why don't we do a couple cards?
Okay, I just don't want to. It's a long test.
So part of our study is we have to complete the smell test.
I wonder if our first page is the same first page.
Oh, that's a good question.
Are your options A, gasoline, B, pizza,
Yeah.
C, peanuts,
Okay,
D,
so,
lilac?
Yep. And
Okay.
so we're going to scratch our thing.
Okay. Yeah, I hate this test.
Oh, this one's harder than the last one.
I always wonder, like, did I get old cards? Like, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't have an answer. It's just process of elimination. I don't think I smelled gasoline. Oh, I shouldn't. I don't want to skew your results. I'll let you lock in before.
I have one locked, I think.
All right, I'm going to lock in mine too.
Okay.
But I didn't smell this. I just want you to know I didn't smell the other things more.
Okay, what'd you pick?
Peanuts.
Oh, fuck, I picked lilac.
You smell lilac?
Yeah. You smell peanut? It smells
I don't
floral.
smell peanuts, but I know I don't smell lilac, pizza, or gasoline.
You don't smell... Oh, I have an idea. Let me smell yours.
Oh, really good. We can... we have a control group, kind of.
Yeah, it's the same smell.
Fuck, I hate this test.
Well, now you've heard our things.
I hope he says pizza.
I did for a second think that. That would have been my second because of oregano.
Thank you. It doesn't smell like anything. It smelled like the lead from my pencil.
I think it's lilac, though.
Okay, so I got that one wrong.
Well, we don't know.
We do. You guys are better at this than me. Okay. I can concede defeat when I'm defeated. I can take the loss. All right, here we go. Number 2. Okay. That one's easy. We're going to agree on this one.
Okay, I'm going to lock mine in. Hold on.
On a count of 3. 1, 2, 3, C.
Bubblegum.
It is bubblegum. Fuck. I got to change it. You know what it was? No, I need to, and I feel ethically fine about it. I smelled gum.
Yeah.
I smelled gum. I'm like, ooh, gum. And then I went, oh, wintergreen's a flavor of gum.
Yeah.
But I didn't even read
That
bubble
was
gum.
hasty.
I didn't even read it.
Okay, let's do one more.
Okay, hold on. Yep. On the count of...
Wait, I'm not ready.
Okay.
No, hold on. You're so fast.
I'm hasty. This should be a test of how... Maybe this is just a test of how hasty you are. 3, 2, 1, D.
Menthol. Yes, D.
Menthol.
Finally.
Finally. Although we did agree on the last one. I just didn't read all the options.
Well.
All right, let's do a fourth one.
Okay.
Now I like it. Okay. Oh, I hope this is D.
Me too.
It's my favorite
I
smell.
think it's D too.
And it is.
Don't do that. But yeah. It is.
It's
But
cherry
we need to
for the
tell
listener.
people, yeah.
For the listener, the options were whiskey, honey, lime, cherry. And of all 4 of those smells, I would most want to smell cherry.
Okay, so what's interesting already, I know me and you are doing this much differently. I don't look at them.
Okay.
I do my thing. I smell first before I see the options.
See, I don't want to be trying to pinpoint what smell I'm smelling. I'd rather know what 4 options are, and then I'll be much quicker to latch it on to one.
Do you think this is like revealing of our personalities?
Maybe. But like if I just smell a smell, I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's a fruit. It's I know it's a fruit. Is it this? It could take me forever to get to kiwi or cherry. But if I see it on there.
Yeah, but you can also be misled that way, like you were with wintergreen.
See, I didn't read them.
Well, you read them
That's
with
why
peanuts.
I just learned the hard.
Peanuts.
I did read that one and I didn't get it. All right. I don't know. But I didn't read them before. And I was like, gum, wintergreen. So I would have been better off reading all of them before. Let's do one last one because it's fun. Oh, I hope it's D.
No.
Please be D. Please be D. Fuck, man. This one's a head scratcher.
But I think I have it. I'm putting mine in.
Fuck this. It's not in there.
Stop being so petulant.
I hate this test so much. I hate you, Dr. Isaacson. You're the worst.
You're such a
turncoat
baby test taker.
All right. This is like, again, the least.
Yeah. I agree that this one isn't like that obvious.
Okay. On 3, 2, 1,
Motor
A.
oil. Oh.
Mine went grass.
The options were grass, pizza, motor oil, and pineapple. And for the listener, you're probably thinking, how the fuck is it not clear?
Yes, those are such different smells.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, nothing came off this piece of paper. I am questioning.
Okay, Rob, do you want to come smell this one?
There's nothing there, Rob. You're wasting your footsteps.
Don't. Stop doing that. He knows.
Stop doing that.
I guess, yeah, maybe use his this
smell
time.
mine and see if you agree with me. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing there. There's no scent. I don't even think a dog.
Yes. Yeah, it is, but that's not
like
an
grass?
option. No, grass.
I don't know. I mean,
Minty like grass. I don't care about this one. Like, I don't care if my smell's in decline.
I take a lot of pride in how strong my nose is.
Yeah.
So
it could be a blessing, really, to not be able to smell. Famously, my dad couldn't smell anything. He broke his nose so many times and he got a nose job. Couldn't smell anything. A house could be on fire. He wouldn't smell it. And we'd be watching TV and I would fart sometimes and it would be so stinky. And I'm like, oh my God, he has no clue.
Oh, that part's nice, I guess.
That part's nice.
Yeah.
It's dangerous if there's a propane leak, I suppose.
Yeah.
You continued on.
Sorry, it's hard for me to stop halfway.
You love this test. Yeah, I would imagine. I did a fun dad thing this morning.
Oh, what'd you do?
I woke up at 5:30, which I wasn't grateful for, but then I was like, oh, whatever, just get up.
Yeah.
And I had done all the stuff I needed to do, and I looked and I was like, oh, it's 6:30. I wonder if I shake the girls awake, if they'll want to go get breakfast before.
Ooh, before school.
Before school. And Lincoln's already up. Lincoln is my daughter. She's up at 6.
They're both your daughters.
Yep, they're both my daughters, to my knowledge. I guess I'll never know unless we all do a 23andMe. But she's up at 6. She goes and lets whiskey out, and then she goes in the backyard. She goes up to the top to a swing. She journaled first. Then she went in the backyard, got on a swing, got a little peacetime perspective. Ooh. Then I saw her walking through the backyard at like 6:30, and then I open up the cameras and I see her. She goes up to the gym.
Oh.
So she's fucking journaled. She basically meditated. She went and sat on a swing.
Right.
And then she went to the gym and did some squats.
Oh, wow.
This shit is just so genetic, right? No one's encouraging her to do any of this stuff.
No one's encouraged. Okay, but it could equally be not genetic. As you just said, you're doing all those things. Yes. In fact, for me, that's more of an indication that all that's nurture.
I just think it's interesting that one of them does this stuff. Yes, it's been modeled. Both versions have been modeled by Kristen and I, but one happens to constantly replicate the modeling Kristen did, and one is constantly replicating the modeling I've done, which I just find suspicious.
Right.
If it were a little more blurry, like a little more of each person.
Right.
And you're right, maybe I'm projecting. Anyways, here's this fucking girl. She's doing her she's got a routine at 11, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, so Delta's still asleep. Again, Kristen versus me. Kristen will always sleep longer than I will. So I sneak in there and I shake Delta awake. Yeah, I'm nervous waking someone up because it can make you grumpy.
Yeah, it can.
I give her a little shake and I go, you want to go to breakfast or before school? And she goes, yeah, absolutely. And so I tiptoe out of the room. They're all ready. And then I'm like, to the Aarons are visiting. So I'm like, if you guys want to go to breakfast? Yeah. I didn't think Weekly would be up, but he was up. And then we get in the car, and then all of a sudden, Belle runs out. Mm-hmm. She had a late enough call.
Oh, yeah.
So we had a party breakfast. There was 5 of us at breakfast.
Fun.
No, 6 of us at breakfast. The whole Northeast Police Department, the division of the LAPD, that's Northeastern. They all went to breakfast.
Oh my God.
They took up all these tables. They were right next to us. And Delta was like, oh, that's the gun. I haven't seen a gun in real life. They just have their gun on. And then the guy overheard it and he's like, yeah, this is where we keep our gun. And then she's like, what else is in your thing? And he's giving her, here are my handcuffs. I go, do you have Narcan? Yeah, oh, here's my Narcan. Whole interactive field trip basically to a police station.
That's cool.
Yeah, they gave them stickers.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, it was fun.
What did the sticker look like?
LAPD.
White with a blue?
Gold.
Gold
And shiny.
Nice.
I was like, if you wear those to school, which they put them on their thing, I'm like, people are going to think you're a narc.
Oh, shit.
21 Jump Street. They're not going to tell you any secrets anymore.
No, a narc
is an undercover.
Yeah, that wouldn't be undercover.
That's true.
That's overcover.
Okay. That's overt.
There'll be an overcover cop.
Overt cover.
Well, that's cute. That's a fun way to kick off the weekend.
It was very, very fun. And everyone got to school on time. It all worked out beautifully.
Nice.
Breakfast before school. That never happened to me.
Me either. A lot of my friends' parents did that.
It's such a fun treat.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a really sweet thing to do. I brought this up in what will be an upcoming episode, but I watched Shane Gillis's special last night.
What led to that last night?
We've had a couple people on who are comics.
Yeah.
And
Arena Comics.
And I do think people
lump them all into one category.
At least two of them, at least Shane and one of them into one category. And then I remember when his special came out.
Yeah.
Everyone was watching it and loving it, but also like, it's like edgy, it's risky.
Very edgy.
And a few people had told me that like I shouldn't watch it. I wouldn't like it. So I didn't.
Right.
And then because we've been in this sort of world for a week or so with these comics and, you know, it's brought up a lot of questions and things and me and you have gotten into a couple things about it. And I was editing that. After I was like, I want to watch Shane and see what I think about that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so great.
Oh, it's
and
fucking
so
wonderful.
funny and good. And like, then I was like, I of course on face value or like, maybe not face, but like on the surface.
Yeah.
First of all, understand how they're lumped together. And secondly, understand why it would be like, maybe that's not for you. To me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's doing an impersonation of someone with Down syndrome. A lot of people that's a big no-no for a lot of people.
Yes, but I had seen his monologue already. And then he explains it immediately that he has a lot of family who has Down syndrome. And he also like has started a business.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why I was not offended by that.
Why he gets a pass.
Exactly.
Yep. But for a lot of people, that's just a deal breaker. There's no going beyond that.
Yeah, that's probably true for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's why I think Chappelle also gets a lot of passes for a lot of things he says. He's lived a life.
But by the way, that was my defense of one of these arena comedians, which is like, in the same way Shane's family members have this and he's immersed in it, like this person who's making these jokes has almost no white friends.
I know, but I don't think it's the same, personally. Like, I think you are allowed to make jokes about your family, like something connected to your family or you. But if you, I mean, you wouldn't because you know me, but if you went and like felt like you could go do an Indian accent because of your proximity to me, I would say probably not.
Right, but one thing I'll say, like, here's an example where it does happen in real life. So I run into Pari, our neighbor. I think we've already said this.
Yeah.
And he tells me, like, you've got to tell Monica to move her porta potty.
Yes.
And I go, I'll tell her, but she's Indian, Pari. She's stubborn. She ain't going to listen to a thing I say. Like, I've earned the right to say that.
Yeah.
I'm close to you. I'm making a joke about Indian people being stubborn. And it's honky-dory. I feel fine about it. Pari loved it.
Pari's Indian.
Yeah, Pari's Indian. Yeah.
If you had said that to a white neighbor, I wouldn't have liked it.
Well, I wouldn't have said it because it wouldn't make any sense to them.
Well,
but Pari knows what that means.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This, what you're saying right now is my entire point. There is a lot of nuance in what is offensive and what is not.
But you would agree it's not objective. It's just like we're all in some continuum.
Yeah.
And for you, the Down syndrome thing didn't bump. For other people, it totally does.
Yes.
And that's just where they're at on the continuum.
Well, sure, there's a continuum, but there is also there's a reality in comedy math about who is getting made fun of. And sometimes, yes, on the surface, if someone's doing an accent it's like, why are they doing the accent? Is it for, like, when you were telling me the story about Pari,
it's like a better story if it sounds like
you were starting
Pari.
to do it in his accent because you were being him.
Right.
That is different than you just going into a room and doing a generic Indian accent for no reason, just to get a laugh. Like there is a difference.
Yeah.
And so, I guess I was really sitting with that of, there's so much, like, I think people think everyone's just offended by everything, and some people are. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's specific, and for me, anyway.
But I think the thing that came up in that interview, which is really, really important, and I do stand by this point, which is like, it's not okay in a school where everyone's white and there's 5 minorities. It's totally fine in the inner city when the white kids don't have a majority and everyone's just teasing each other, which is a fine thing everyone can agree to. Yeah. And everyone can enjoy it if they enjoy it.
Yeah, if people enjoy it and are in on it.
And so my defense of the one person is like, yes, if he's just a guy who doesn't have any friends and isn't in a group where they're all teasing each other, if he's out there doing it, that is a different thing to me than someone who's grown up with, predominantly all minority friends and everyone's blasting each other. That is a totally different situation. And the people that enjoy it have to be allowed to enjoy it.
Sure. I'm not telling anyone they can't like something or whatever. I'm just telling you what I think is smart comedy and what isn't, if I'm being honest. I think people like Chappelle, and I think Shane did this in his special, they are doing kind of saying wild things.
Oh my God, rooting for Al-Qaeda.
Being very provocative.
Yeah.
But they're not. If you really listen to what they're saying, they are making fun of the hegemonic group and all of these things. Or if you're making fun of fucking Al-Qaeda, most people aren't gonna be upset about that. You might be like, oh my God, he's saying provocative things. He's saying 9/11. He's saying I'm rooting for them. Yeah. He's saying this. But when you really start, you're like, oh yeah, he is making fun of terrorists. Most people don't think they need to be, you need to stick up for them.
Right.
They're not a marginalized
They don't
group.
have a lobby.
Exactly. They're not a group that people feel like they need to
Twitter
get behind.
Saying, yeah.
Yeah. Those really, really smart comedians are Trojan horsing a positive message into the world under this kind of provocative nature. And I think that is brilliant.
And I think we all, to some degree, see ourselves in the things we're watching. So, like, I recognize all those things to be true about Shane that you just said. Mm-hmm. And also, I look at him and I go, oh, the fun for me is more, everyone is so quick and needs to find out whether the comedian they're listening to is on the left or the right. It's imperative. They must figure it out if they're going to enjoy this.
Right.
And he is bouncing both directions throughout the whole thing. And it begs of you to be a little more comprehensive in how you're judging the thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like the fun challenge, which I really appreciate.
Yeah. He seems cool. I think...
And also, really he got famous first for getting canceled.
I know, the Asian
which
slurs.
Is going to immediately, bring over one side.
Ish, but if you do like 5 minutes of a look into it and he apologized for that too. And he said, look, there's so much of me out there. There's going to be big misses. That was a big miss. Yeah. So that was a fun little deep dive I did.
I'm due to watch it again now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, it was good.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
I guess this is sort of in keeping because this is for Jonathan Haidt.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw his book again pop up on something. It's like still number 2.
Yeah.
Something. It is a success. Okay, but the Cannibal Cookbook.
Okay.
That's Nico Clau. Nico Clau. Claux. I feel guilty because I know I would have pronounced it Claux, but you already told me it was Clau.
Well, I just said that LeBeau, my my maiden name
Yeah.
used to be Lebeaux.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it became Labo.
So he murdered and robbed, and according to him,
According to him.
he murdered and robbed and
But
ate
there is
people.
record of him being in prison.
Yeah, but like not for very long.
12 years?
7,
7.
which feels like a little bit
It feels too short of a prison term for murder.
for a murder.
But these other countries have different approaches than we do.
That is true.
Yeah.
You're right.
You could kill someone and make your tea time next week.
I just really liked this phrase that I had never heard about 2 types of people. There are 2 types of people, those who say there are 2 types of people and those who don't. I really liked
Yeah,
that.
it's clean.
Yeah.
It's really clean. I had AI give me moral dumbfoundings. Oh. Because I wanted to do one every episode with Aaron. Because he and I have such loosey-goosey morals. I thought it'd be kind of fun to hear us process some of these things. There's a bunch. You want to hear one?
Yeah.
The clone replacement. They have titles.
Okay.
A couple's young child dies in an accident. Overwhelmed with grief, they secretly have the child cloned and raise the clone as if nothing happened. They never tell the child or anyone else. Is this morally wrong? Why?
Oh, wow.
So I have to first imagine.
Yeah.
This is how I'm going to wade through this. I find this out tomorrow.
About a friend.
About me.
Oh.
So I find out tomorrow my parents had a Dax already.
Uh-huh.
He died. They cloned me.
Uh-huh.
And my honest feeling is I'm so moved by that. They loved me so much they needed another one of me. I would feel fine about that.
I wouldn't feel moved, but I feel fine.
Right?
It doesn't bother me.
It's just they double demonstrated they wanted you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I growing up and being more and more, seeing your parents as real people and being a little critical of them, I guess I would more be like, they were not able to go through a grief like that, or they didn't think they were going to be able to.
Yeah.
So they did this.
Yeah.
Weirdly, that doesn't have anything to do with me, Monica, now. Like, I wouldn't think, oh no, I wasn't real, or
I'm
I
the
wasn't.
second one.
Yeah, I wouldn't think any of that.
So I cannot find who the victim in this scenario is. That's why I wanted to start with pretending I'm the cloned person.
Right.
So I don't see a victim.
I guess I would say morally it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, and again, the stakes couldn't be higher, so it's good. Like, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we all experience pain, and then sometimes good things come out of it.
Right.
But like losing a kid, what could possibly come out of that that's positive? So I mean, yeah,
Yeah, like if the goal in life is to figure out how to not be in deep sorrow over that, that's a bizarre goal to have.
Right, but I guess then, is it like then you really can't feel anything again? Like, I wonder how it will impact you in your life as the person, the parent.
Well, I think for the parent, it'd be really tricky because, of course, I go like, okay, if I lost Lincoln, would I try to get her back? Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. What would be kind of unfair to Lincoln 2.0 is that I have an expectation of who she is. And how flexible could I be when this 2.0 isn't 1.0?
Yeah.
So I think you'd have to go into it with a real rigid game plan of like, I refuse to try to make her the same person.
Well,
I have to let her be whoever she is, which is already the original challenge of being a parent. So it's actually not a new challenge.
Yeah.
Which is you've got to try your hardest to let them be who they are.
Yeah.
Which is the big battle.
But also, again, like, I don't think any parent could really, if they're thinking about their own kid, could see it this way. But you and I have talked about this when we've sometimes talked about other people who've gone through horrible, horrible tragedies of having like a child die of a disease.
I know
or
dudes who are sober and they don't relapse, and I'm like so blown away.
Right. But you've also said like your best self would just be so grateful to have had that time.
That's what I would
That's your highest self.
I would, and more importantly, I would really feel like I was dishonoring her.
Right.
To not be so grateful I got the time I got with her. That's like the weird moral position I have about it, is like, I can't, to be anything but grateful for every moment I had with her.
Yeah.
Is like dishonoring her.
Well, then is it dishonoring
her by replacing her?
Yeah. You're right. Like, this new her, even though she's cloned, is not her.
She's right. She's going to eat different foods at different times and be at different spots on the planet.
We also just there's just so much more to us than our DNA and our flesh. Like, we have an essence, we have a thing, and that isn't, you can't replicate that.
I also wonder too, this bond and trust I have with her, it would be easy to think I just have it. When the new baby arrived.
Yeah.
But I probably forget how much I earned along the way of that bond and trust.
Yeah, for sure.
That is now mine and I can feel. But at the beginning, I was earning. I was saying, welcome.
Yeah. Well, you would do
I'm your
that
friend.
again.
Yeah, I would do that again.
Yeah.
I guess you could assume you have a relationship you don't. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
And benefit of the doubt and all these things that grow over time. You know, she sees me admit when I'm wrong enough times that she trusts me.
Yeah.
But the first one, the new one, 2.0, wouldn't have seen that.
Is the new one the age of, would it come as a baby?
No, it'd have to come as a baby.
Okay, so then you would do all the same things.
Yeah.
But then that to me is, if it comes as a baby.
And then if you're just repeating everything.
That's the thing.
Is that a performance?
I think maybe if it's a baby, like, it's maybe dishonoring the original kid.
There's some things I wouldn't do that I learned.
Right.
The 2.0 would get a little bit better of an experience. Like, I had to learn along the way some
of course.
lessons.
But then I guess it sort of, it's like, then why not have another baby that's not her, but is just a new
could have
person?
her. I mean, that's.
But it's not. I guess that's what it really starts. It's like,
it's the guy with
not,
the bowl that gored
it's not
him.
her.
Yeah.
Unless you believe, like, I don't believe that. I don't think a clone, even though it's technically a clone.
It is her.
It's technically
It's not an
her.
identical twin.
Exactly.
It's a clone.
It's her. I think there are just too
Although that
many
is the
factors.
same as an identical twin.
There just are factors in life that will
we live
make
in a
that
different house.
person
I have a different job. We have a different level of means. There's a lot has changed in 12 years.
Yeah. Maybe there was something like that. That person had a complete. They didn't, in my opinion, because I don't really. That's hard for me to like wrap my head around. But there was a beginning and an end to that.
Yeah.
And then to like kind of fuck with that feels maybe wrong to that original person. I don't know.
But again.
But that person's dead.
Yeah. And if I found out like I'm dead and my parents wanted me back, I don't.
But it's
I would
not
feel
you.
very loved.
Somebody else it's a new Dax.
But they wanted me back.
I know.
The message is still very nice.
They all, well, yeah, but don't you obvious.
Some people would be like, oh, let's try a different combination.
Now, the study on how much time kids are spending on the phone in schools is, 1.5 hours on average a school day, with 25% of students logging on for more than 2 hours.
Now, what my question is, has note passing gone down by an hour and a half a day? Because I pass notes at least an hour and a half a day.
Yeah.
Probably 3, or drew pictures and handed the pictures I drew to Aaron.
Yeah.
So I do wonder if has that gone down?
Maybe, but
is it just offsetting this other disruptive behavior?
I think it's not about disruptive behavior. It's about social isolation.
Yeah, I think it's better for you to pass notes.
Yeah.
But I think I think a lot of people will just go like, oh my God, they're just wasting an hour and a half of their day that they could be educated. I'm just saying, explore that a little more. Everyone's missing an hour and a half a day. We always have been. We just might have been doing different things. And then you could say which things are better for you. And I would agree note passing is better. Yeah. But I don't think missing an hour and a half of instruction is new.
No, I don't either. I don't even know if that, maybe for that study, that's the point. But I think Jonathan Haidt would say it's not. Like, the problem is just being isolated.
Yeah.
Passing notes and stuff is rite of passage. It's part of school. It's part of
It's the
growing
best
up.
part of the whole experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. Really
You're just
is
wading through the
fun.
instructions so you can be passing notes to friends.
I know. Did you pass in the hallway too? We would
To
pass in the
girls.
hallway.
I'd write love letters to Randy during class, and then I'd see her in the hallway, and I'd make out with her for a second, and then I'd leave her with a note.
We used to also pass. We had
I can
like
see her
slam
handwriting
books.
in my head.
Oh, that's
like
cute.
immediately. You had slam books.
Yeah, we didn't call them that,
Okay.
but like you'd have like one with like these two girls, and you'd all get together and you'd make the composition book, and you like cut out all these things from magazines and you tape it on, and then you tape the whole book. So the whole book is covered in like a particular design that you've made.
Is it positive or is it? Slam book sounds like you're tearing people down.
That's not the right phrase. No, it's like I would cut out this like picture of Britney Spears, and then they'd cut out a thing that
And
says
everyone's adding
way
to it.
cool. But like that's just the front. That's just the cover.
Okay.
Then throughout the day, you take turns with the book. So you'll write in it, and then you'll pass to your friend. Then they'll write in it. Then they pass to the other. The thing is, you'd end up having like a lot of books.
Yeah.
Because you have
Who got to keep them though?
different
Because they were
groups.
communal.
It was rotated.
It just rotated.
Yeah.
Do you know the term slam piece? That made me think of that.
I have heard of that.
Yeah.
Slam
That was
books.
a word.
Slam book, I think, is what's maybe used in Mean Girls. We didn't call it that, but that's
I just had a thought you're going to hate.
okay.
I'm considering not participating in this part of the experiment. It just occurred to me like, maybe I just go, no, I don't want to do the smell test.
Okay.
I just had that thought, like, do I have to do the smell test?
You don't have to. You don't have to. We don't have to do any of this.
I know.
But we might as well do it if we've agreed to do it.
I don't think I want to do it. I thought you would hate that. Is it funny to you sometimes, though, how different we are? Or is it just always frustrating?
It's not frustrating. It's like
Disappointing. I feel like I disappoint you a lot.
it's so weird because I think if you were like, this thing is giving me so much anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
It's causing me stress that I can't handle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do it.
Well, I looked over and I was like, oh my God, there's 4 booklets. I thought that way you
that's
were
different.
talking. And I was like,
Then I would say, don't do it. If that's going to stress you out, if that's
Yeah.
going to like cause you pain,
yeah,
then absolutely don't do it.
yeah.
It's when it's like, I don't want to do that. I'm not doing it.
Uh-huh.
That is a hard mentality for me, for anyone
Yeah.
in my life.
Yeah, for you. Yeah, I totally agree.
So I guess I
for
don't want to
me-
say I'm disappointed, but that might be the right actually word for it.
Yeah, I can feel it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Well,
sorry.
I just want to explore it. I'm not trying to.
Okay. I mean,
It seems like an interesting topic.
yeah, I guess it's because I feel like, well, we all decided to do this.
I think you're a rule follower, as we already know, and I'm a rule breaker, as we already know. And seeing someone break the rules also gives you anxiety. It gives you personal anxiety to see someone, like, because my position is like, yeah, you don't break the rules, don't break them. And then I don't care that you're not
Yeah.
breaking them, but it causes you anguish when I break them in front of you. And I guess I can understand. It's just like the thought of breaking the rules is just an uncomfortable feeling for you, even if you're just witnessing
I
it
think
happen with
that's a
someone else.
nice way of looking at it. And maybe that is what's happening. I think it's more why are we doing any of this then? Like, if we're only going to half do.
Well, I would argue I'm going to 96%. Like, so much of the stuff is not that.
Sure.
Yeah.
If we're going to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Maybe it's indicative of a broader fear I have with you. Because I mean, I'll be if Rob says I don't want to do the smell test, I'm not going to have this feeling. It's toward you.
Right.
And I think it's because I feel fearful.
That, like, drinking and using drugs is one of the rules?
No.
Oh.
But that's an interesting thought. No. I feel fearful, I guess, that you could abandon anything you've committed to? What if tomorrow you decide you don't want to do this anymore? It's that, I think, really. I mean, I don't think that. Like on consciously, I don't think that. I don't think you're going to do that. I think you have your commitments and you stick to them. But I
have a
think
track record
that's
of being
what's happening.
responsible.
I think I'm just being honest. That I think.
I'm as interested as you are in.
And why?
Yeah.
That's only for me to fix or change my mentality on. That's not for you to do anything about, but I do think that's probably a factor.
Right. Gotcha.
Oh, one thing before we end Jonathan, he has some detractors.
Yeah, he has several very respected detractors.
Yeah.
One a professor at UC Irvine.
Yeah, and then that was in Nature magazine.
Yeah, she wrote a whole article in Nature. What's her name?
Candace Odgers.
Candace Odgers, yes. And she has lots to push back on. But the thing I remember the most is her basically saying the conclusion that more social media leads to heightened anxiety and depression when it's equally or more compelling to her that people with high anxiety and depression spend more time on social media. You really can't determine what direction that correlation is heading in.
Yeah.
That's a very strong pushback, I think.
Feel free to look into some of that other stuff.
It's a good article. I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nature is trusted.
Very trusted
Extremely
brand.
trusted brand.
All right, that's it for Jonathan
That was all?
Haidt. Glad we got to have him on.
Me too.
Promote his big fancy book.
Yes. And I'm so scared of them too.
You didn't seem it.
I love being scared like that. It's just weird. It's a weird, this is such a brag, but it's true. It's like, there's not a ton of people I'm very afraid to get in a debate with.
Yeah, I
And
understand.
I'm like terrified to get in a debate with them.
That makes sense to me.
Jordan Peterson. It's like I've had a lot of people go like, why don't you have Jordan Peterson on? I'm like, because I don't agree with him.
Yeah.
And nor could I defeat him in a debate.
Right.
I know my limits.
Right.
He is a oral master. And I'd get eviscerated and then I'd leave and go like, oh my God, I don't agree with anything he said, but I couldn't win that argument.
Yeah, that's so interesting that you bring that up. I think that's common now where people just have become masters at debate.
Yeah. It's a skill.
It's a huge skill.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't mean they're right.
it doesn't mean they're right. And it doesn't even mean they've thought things out well. They're just good, very good at communicating and pivoting, and it's doing that skill well.
I think people who do not host shows experience this their whole life, which is you're in a relationship with somebody, and one of the two of you will be a better debater. It's very rare that both of you are going to be completely equally matched in a debate.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people end up feeling so disheartened by the fact that the person will never take what they're saying in because they have won the debate.
It's all about winning the debate as opposed to actually understanding one another.
Yeah. And I'm certain I've been guilty of this in the past.
But I do think some people, especially in the academic world, really can suffer from this.
I was very grateful. I had a girlfriend who was better at debating than me. And she just blasted me several times where it's like we left and she had won.
Yeah.
And it was so helpful to correct my own behavior because I was like, oh, all those debates I won, I haven't convinced the person of anything.
Right.
They just lost the debate or they gave up on the debate as I did.
Yeah.
I had the same hurt feelings that she never addressed.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, oh my God, I'm really glad I experienced that because I think I've done that to people. I've done that to people, not I think. I have done that to people.
Yeah.
Thought I had convinced them.
Right.
So the wisdom I was offering.
Yeah.
And I hadn't done anything to help them.
Right.
I'd made it worse.
And it's interesting when we get in these topics that are very emotional. Not we.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes
But
we.
also was.
Also we. But in general, when it's an emotional topic, but one of the people is often like very good at debating or an academic or something. And
great memory. That's how I would win a lot of those things.
Memory.
That was Tuesday.
Right.
Now I make a meal out of they're saying is right.
Exactly. But they're only using logic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard in a debate to combat logic. Like you can't.
Right.
But then everyone leaves and like the person with the emotional argument is still correct. Like their feelings are still there.
They still feel terrible.
They're still probably, yeah.
Yeah, I've really had to go, do I want to acknowledge and help to make the person not feel the way they do, or do I want to prove that they don't have a right to feel that way?
Yeah.
Because that's easy. That's the most appealing to me.
Of course.
Like if I can prove to them that they're actually off base and this shouldn't be how they feel.
Yeah.
I will erase the feeling.
Yeah.
By showing that, there's no logical road to how you feel.
Right.
And once you realize that, you will no longer feel that way.
Yeah.
No, they will feel. They'll feel
Exactly.
even more like that because probably their initial issue with me was related to that.
Yeah. And we've talked about this, but it is worth repeating. Emotions are as important as logic. Let's look
They're
at
more.
They're more important.
You go to war over emotion.
Exactly. Look at our political landscape. It's emotion driven.
Oh yeah.
To act like that isn't a relevant part or to dismiss it in a debate
Yeah.
or like just stomp on it with logic is so unhelpful because you're removing an entire real legitimate piece.
Yeah. And that's why I get frustrated when people are like, the science, look at the science.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know, guys, but that's not
Doesn't matter.
compelling.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with a fear, science doesn't eradicate fears.
That's very true. Yeah.
Wish everyone was a logical robot. No one had emotions. And I didn't have to talk them
That
out
would
of
be
them.
so boring.
It would.
All right.
All right. Love you.
Love you.